We are here tonight to celebrate women, Haitian women in business, fashion, beauty, and we have a lot of beauty in the room. So we're gonna have a quick conversation with these beautiful ladies. We have DJ Heavy in the building. We're gonna dance, we're gonna eat, we're gonna drink. We're here till 10 o'clock, but it's very important that we talk, because that conversation is needed in the community. Thank you to LNDJ for creating this wonderful weekend for us. Thank you to Maritza Boudoir House. Yes. Thank you to Creole Image. I don't know who that person is, but thank you to him. Haïti Déblogué. All right. DJ Most Wanted. We're gonna bring it down for another quick conversation, and then we'll get the music going. You need a mic? No? You need your own mic.
This one work. Good afternoon, everyone. Bonsoir tout le monde. I am not a TICO moderator, but I'm going to try my best. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Gina. I'm actually going to read what Maritza wrote about me, because it's hard for me to just talk about myself. So I'm just going to read what Maritza wrote about me, and I'm just going to refer to myself. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gina. I'm a devoted single mom of 3 exceptional children. My oldest daughter, Sarah, is currently striving at Brown University. As a dedicated hospice nurse, I am very compassionate and caring. Over the years, I've touched countless lives. My commitment to self-care and wellness is evident in my love for fitness and travel. My faith is my guiding force, and I believe that God opened doors for me to make a positive impact on others. As a savvy investor, I enjoy collaborating with my younger son, Misha, who works on diversifying my portfolio. My entrepreneurial spirit and financial acumen have empowered me to build a secure future for myself and my children. I'm also passionate about advocating for domestic violence awareness, using my voice to support survivors and create a safer and more compassionate world. So I am excited to be here today with you guys. I'm very passionate about wealth and money. Being a single mom who raised 3 children, I think one of my success came from my career and also from a mindset of finance, which I know that we usually say that our parents don't teach us so much, but I grew up seeing my mom and dad working as businesswomen, although they were selling, farming stuff, but I think that was one of the things that always stayed with me, that money was very important. We have 2 beautiful ladies in the panel here. We have Maritza, who is a financial advisor, as she told you guys before, and also Milani Jean-Marie, who is a serial entrepreneur. So I'm gonna ask you ladies questions, and also we're gonna open the panel for you guys to ask questions as well. Empowering women in the business of fashion and finance, our panel discussion brought together industry leaders to share their experience and insight on navigating the intersection in style and commerce. Either one of you guys can answer. What role do you think membership plays in supporting women's success?
I think my biggest one of my weaknesses was, but now I realize it's a strength, was supporting other women. I realize that's the gift that I have, that my growth or my success is in helping other women. Just for Gina, I knew that's where she wants to go in terms of coaching and doing these type of events. We've talked about it for years. So I literally, right, forced her to do this. Because if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you will never do it. And your first supporter needs to be, they don't have to be your best friends. They don't have to be friends. They can be people that you meet, you let them know what you want to do, and be vulnerable enough to let them help you. Because it's not always about money, as we learned before, because the money will come. That I believe. You keep putting one foot in front of the other, you keep stepping out into different rooms, meeting people, and you are intentional about every action that you take, the money will come. I know how much of a badass she is in investing. She'll call me, she's like, yo, Maritza, did you see the stock market? I'm like, Gina, I have no clue to what you are talking about. And that's why I'm like, it's the business of finance and fashion, because we have a lot of women that are out there killing it into the stock market or investing, but they don't necessarily talk about it, because in our community, it's very machismo-ish. It's a male-dominated industry, and for us women, and we're just talking about that, and Tico said it too, the audacity to have to say, yeah, I'm an expert in this area, I know what I'm talking about. So that's what I say for women, is in investing in each other.
I can answer the same question, right? All right. So she spoke about mentorship. For myself, I think mentorship is very big in any type of business, venture, whatever it is that you're trying to do. I remember myself studying my skincare line. It was very costly. I wish I had someone like her in my life back then, because you will catch me taking pictures, editing, doing every content thing I have no business doing, watching YouTube. Well, if you have a mentor or you had a team, the amount of time that you're wasting in trying to do everything on your own, you will take that time in creating more and also making yourself more valuable in your business. So for my beauty supply store, I own the only black and the only beauty supply in Deltona, Florida. And getting that business, I had to find mentorship. And as you guys know, with beauty supply store, it's not all kind, right, that owns a beauty supply store, even though we're the one that's spending most of the money into that business. So it took me going to Atlanta, finding someone that was already in the business, paying for mentorship to get myself into the business. And I tried for years, and even if you guys look up my online, I even had already registered my business thinking that I could do it by myself, but I tried for years, and I didn't know where to get the products, how to apply for them, how to become a seller. It's a lot. But if you already know someone, whether you're following them on social media or is someone that's having a seminar or conference, take the leap of faith. Just go. If you have the money, spend it. Get them to mentor you, and that will save you a lot of money. So mentorship is the way to go, I feel, that when you're starting a business.
Thank you, ladies. Next question is, what are some common financial challenges that women in your industry and face, and how have you overcome it?
When you first start, you're going to be your first investor. Let your 9-to-5 be your investor into your business. Don't get caught up in, especially now with social media, where you see everybody living the life. It's 95% of the time, it's a fake life. So understand where you are, work your 9 to 5 so you can invest in your business. If it's the store you want to have, it doesn't need to be a physical store you start with. It's a store, right? So you can start it online. Your BFF is a graphic designer, so you already have that started. Starts with 3 products. They sold out. They don't need to know that you had 100 or you had 200. It's sold out, it's sold out, you know? And then you start that way. Then from there, as you're building your network, you know, then you go into the business plan, then you start going asking for a loan. The one thing I'll say to do, open that business account. Open that business account so that you can start having transactions going into it, making sure when they are paying you, they pay you through the business account. Or even if you are paying yourself, send the money to the business account, then transfer it to your personal account.
I think for me, it was being more organized with your money. Coming from the skincare line, when I had my skincare, I would do shows, and I had the online, the site. People would just buy things, and I would just be like, hey, just Cash App it or Zelle it. And then we're not keeping track of what's going in and what's going out. And when it comes time for you to do your taxes, so then it becomes very problematic. And if you want to try to get a loan, you can't walk into a bank with just a Schedule C, you know, because all they're seeing is loss. So you're like, oh, okay, you made $1 million and you lost all of it, and then you want to try to borrow $200,000, how you going to pay it back? So you really want to be organized with your funds. So I'll say, you know, if you have to get QuickBooks so you can do your own bookkeeping, or there are people that do bookkeeping. That way, when it's time for you to walk in, if you're trying to get a loan, it won't be as hard for you to get the loan. So I manage my funds better. I invest into a CPA. I invest into bookkeeping and making sure that, you know, I'm crossing my T's and my I's. So when it comes to doing my taxes, I do taxes. I don't even handle it myself. I give it to my CPA. He does what he does. And I haven't had any issues or the IRS saying, and the IRS will write you. And they'll tell you, you owe a big amount of money that you don't even know how you're gonna pay back. So, and you know, to avoid all of that, just do your thing, you know, right? Stop doing the Cash App, stop doing the Zelle. If you have to invoice them, there are a lot of different apps that help with that. Create an invoice, send it, and then when they send it back, just reconcile that, that open invoice, making sure that it's paid, and then that way you don't have to run into any problems.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you do your bookkeeping, because usually with business, I feel like IRS usually flag you because of the Schedule C. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so very important. Thank you, ladies. Next question is, what advice would you give to a woman or anyone seeking funding for their business, and what resources would you recommend?
I was lucky enough with my very first business. My husband literally poured that into me. I told him what I wanted to do. He blessed me. God blessed me with a very good man. I told him what I wanted to do, and for my birthday, he was like, hey, go ahead and start your business. So, but I think for a lot of people that might not have a husband to bless them, parents sometimes, you'll be surprised. My mama, they always act like they don't have money, but they do. They do. They do. You guys, I'm so serious, they do. And once my business started picking up, when my business started picking up, and I told my mom, I said, hey, Mom, I want to put more money into my inventory. And I don't know where this lady went to her bank account. She was like, okay, kilo bumble back. And she gave me the check. So don't be afraid to ask your parents. And some friends, if you know, they are friends, that are really into what you're doing and they're not competing with you. You can also ask friends, and then the last resort would be the banks. Don't be scared of loans, you guys. I think in our community, they make us feel that the loans are so bad. It's not. If you're making the money and you're able to pay for it. SBA, they have very low interest loan. If you're making the money and you can pay it back, why not? Because the loan can enlarge your business. If you're sitting on inventory, you can't move, and all you're missing is marketing. You know, a little bit of $1,000 here every month will take your business in a whole different level than you could ever imagine. So if you can get the loan, your credit is good, your bookkeeping is good, everything looks good, walk to the bank and ask what you need, and they'll give it to you.
The one thing I will say is, when you're first getting started, do a budget. How much does it take for me to start this business, right? And I think Margie had said this. Don't make it so big where it becomes so overwhelming, right? If it's gonna be $2,500, we'll use $2,500 as an example, right? I said, let your 9 to 5 be your investor. Take that $500 for your business. Find 4 friends. You're gonna ask them for $250 each. Don't go any higher than that. So that gives you $1,000. So now you're already at $1,500. And you get started in your business. Because God sees that, He will open door for you for that extra, that other $1,000. It will come. But what we need to do is to get started.
Okay, so there's one last question, but I'm going to open the panel for anyone who has questions before I ask the ladies the last questions.
All right, I think I have the mic. I think we had a question, from here.
Hi, good evening. Maritza, I know you said you were in the life insurance business. Just for context, I know there's a difference between term life insurance and whole life insurance. Can you explain the difference between the two?
Let me put a disclaimer. As an agent, I cannot really talk about these things, so I'm going to keep it very short. Term, meaning there's a time limit. There's an expiration date to it. Whole life, permanent, for life. Meaning that you have a whole life until you die. Now a lot of companies have it to 100, 120 years because they find that more people are living a higher expectancy life. So you'll get a whole life that can last you up to 120 years. And then for term, it's typically between 10, 20, 30, and yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm ignoring her. She has a question. But you talked about business. During the pandemic, I worked for an organization that was giving PPP loans. We couldn't find enough black-owned businesses to give away money to because they didn't do what we call a formation paperwork. Everybody wants to open a business. You can know how to cook. Doesn't mean you can run a restaurant. You can throw events in your basement. Doesn't mean you can throw an event in a venue that requires certain things. So formation is critical. When you go to a bank to look for money, you need 2 years of existence. So the first thing you do, you file your formation paperwork, open an account. One thing you can get is a credit card up to $25,000. If you have good credit, 50. So you can get, I'll give you some other banks you could apply for, but most banks will give you $25K to start that. Huh?
Navy Federal will give you.
Navy Federal, that's if you are a member like my veteran Captain Celestine. Major, I'm sorry, Dr. Celestine. If not, the big banks usually don't give away money. It's not Chase, Bank of America. Take your M&T, Capital One. Capital One is a credit card bank.
Right.
So that's how they started. So even if your credit is not where it's at, they'll work with you. Bank of America doesn't do that, but they have the only program that do a secured card, meaning you putting your money, you borrowing against your own money to build your credit. So when you need those funds, you can, it takes 12 months of using that credit, to your point, for them to do that. But anyway, it's another time, you have a question. She has a question from last panel. Then I'll come to you.
Thank you. My name is Gina. I'm an entrepreneur. I juggle many brands. I have a brand called Haitian Girls Brunch. So I have a loaded question. How do you juggle finding not only financial backing for your brand, also how do you position yourself for sponsorship, product sponsorship? And my final question would be in terms of like building a team, because we can't manage our business by ourselves. How do we vet and find people that are reliable to represent our brands?
Branding. Congratulations, Haitian Girls Who Brunch. I love you guys. In what you guys do. I think you guys are branded Haitian Girls for Brunch. Now it's a matter of networking. A lot of times we stay in our own circle thinking that we are networking. And it's the same people that we have. I was just having that conversation prior to us coming here with Naomi, asking the same question in getting help. There's a lot of people out there that's looking for us. We're just not reaching out to them. So what I'll say is to collaborate with an influencer like Naomi to, to create an ad and then asking for interns, right? To be your assistant or graphic designer, whatever else you know that we need to do assistant with that, because like you said, we get so burned out building it. And before we can finally build it, we're so tired because we're doing everything. Because when you first started in business, you only have yourself. So that's that. And then the second part, in terms of sponsorship. Now is actually a hard time to find sponsors because it's a tough economy. However, though, you have the brand recognition. It's putting that business plan together and then knocking on doors. You literally have to do that work. So for you, it's looking at all the different platforms so that you keep on making noise. They know. Don't be afraid of the medias in the HMI. Use them. You know, reach out to them, because this is the one thing. Everybody's looking for content. So.
I'll say this. I manage a Haitian artist, Baki. And the way that we get sponsorship, you have to create a sponsorship deck, right? And I know your brand very well, because my sister comes from Boston to come to your event. So just showcasing what you've done in the past, and then they have to see somewhat a connection, how you can also bring visibility to their brand. So it's a win-win type of thing. If they feel that they can partner up with you, they can sponsor some of your events, and in return they'll get something, they'll do it. And don't try to stay in your community. Like she was just saying, just kind of see if you can also venture out. So if you can go to the chiropractic that's not Haitian, right? Whoever else, but not just a Haitian, and I promise you, a lot of them, a lot of times, they're more open to giving you sponsorship than us, the Haitian. And then, what was the other question? I think I had a funding. With the funding part, she's right about that. right now, I feel like with everything going on with the Trump administration, it's more so, can we really trust that if we give you this, we'll get something back in return? And I think it's kind of early on for us to make, a very concrete decision. But the money is there. It's just finding out where and who. And it seems like he's very well knowledgeable about that. And then we can probably get more information from him. But I do think there are. It's just a matter of finding who aligns with your vision. And then they'll be very more open to give it to you.
I'll add this, and to what she said in other communities. They may not be Haitian, but they have a lot of Haitian clients. So it's about time we say, hey, you are in our community, right? And we need you to also give back, because a lot of our communities are taking your products or your services.
Yeah.
I'm that type of girl too. I walk into your business. So don't be afraid. I walk into their business. I say, hey, this is what it is. This is what. Okay, can we see something? And they'll write you a check. So if you do that $500 here, $200 there, it adds up. And then you end up, if you do that almost every weekend, let's just say every Friday, you say, hey, this is what I'm going to do. You put up a goal. I want to collect $10,000 for this week or for the day. It happens. You get some no's, but you'd also get some yes. But I promise you, you will leave with something.
All right. Thank you. Great, Jim. We have another question, but want to quickly talk about sponsorship. What do you guys think a sponsor needs in return? When you want sponsorship, if you come to ask me for money, what do I want in return?
Visibility.
I think what happens with sponsorship, one, I think it's the ROI, the return on investment. Sometimes we are asking for, let's say we have a sponsorship deck. We have $5,000 package, we have $10,000 package. And then the brand is like, what am I getting for that $5,000 or $10,000? I think one thing we need to look at, we need to look at where our brand is and then build our sponsorship deck accordingly to see, is my brand at the position where I need to ask for a $10,000 sponsorship or a $5,000 sponsorship. I'll tell people, depending on where your brand is, create $100 sponsorship, $250 sponsorship, $500 sponsorship, and then you start going from there. Second thing too, plan out whatever event that you are going to have, especially if you don't have the money, right? I'll tell people this: don't start if you don't have an initial investment to get started. Don't wait on sponsorship to build whatever it is that you're doing, because a lot of time you get disappointed.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Sweat equity, we call it, right? You got to put in that investment. But many times people will send you a sponsorship deck. They can't tell you what I should be getting in return. And I'll give you an example. In the Haitian community, I've yet to see major promoters, for example, get a liquor sponsor. Because when you sell tickets at Shack Shack Barbershop, we cannot account for that volume. Because in your deck, you're supposed to say, I'm targeting 500,000. This is my demographic. This is what I'm targeting. If I'm Pepsi, I'm Coca-Cola, I don't know, Hennessy. I need to see what's your target. What does your brand can do for me in return? She gets 10,000 for a commercial. It's not because she's getting a bunch of likes. It's her penetration, right? So with money, people always want, I love, Haitian doesn't understand sponsorship. It's $100, $300. They send you a deck, but at the end of the day, what am I getting in return? But also, can you articulate what your brand is gonna do for me at the end of the day for you to get that money? Because, listen, I receive a lot of, I want you to sponsor this, but everything doesn't come back full circle, because I can't run a business if I'm pouring out and nothing is coming in. Then it's a charity case. 1 second.
Thanks for teaching, Fred. I appreciate that. Sorry, he's my friend, and I'm always teasing him. Gina, just so you know, I have 200,000 followers. Get with me, girl, after, okay? We can talk about sponsorship. Don't worry about me. You guys, I am a comedian on the low, and I know these people that I'm messing with, so don't beat me up outside. But I wanted to talk about universal index. Have you heard of that? So how does that compare to the term whole and universal?
Like I said, I cannot talk about it, so you have to see me after it. But it's another product. It's another financial product. You know, it's an investment product. So depending on where you are at and what your portfolio looks like, a good agent will sit with you, go over and tell you this is what you should invest in, how much you should invest in, based on what you want to get for your retirement or your living benefits.
Nice, thank you. Set up an appointment if you want to know more. It costs money.
Hello, ladies, and thank you for everything that you're providing to us today. So my question is an investment question, or really it's a true or false. True or false? When you are deciding to start your own business, you should invest your own money into your business.
On the top of it, yes. But now, let's say you don't have it. Because I'm saying, sometimes you may not have it. Just because you don't have the money doesn't mean you cannot start. Now, you heard this saying of your network is your net worth. So just because I don't have it personally, I can say within the past 4 years or 5 years when I left New York and moved to South Florida, working for my corporate job, becoming an entrepreneur, my friends, my network invested in me. So that's what I'll say. It's a tricky question. It may not, you need money, but it doesn't have to be yours.
Yeah, I agree. I say yes and no too because, for instance, real estate investment, I do that a lot. There are some deals I get, I don't have all of it to invest, but I have the deal, you don't, and you don't have the connection. So I present it to you, I use your own money, I invest it, and the profit, we split it, and you won't even know. So sometimes it's not so much about using your own money for the business, it's having the right connection. And then you use their money to do the investment.
Hi guys, my name is Garvinci Nicholas. I'm a fashion designer. A question I had for you guys speaking of like investing, taking your 9 to 5 and investing into your own brand. For me, my experience has been, okay, I need this, it's gonna come out of my own money. How do you guys account for that when it comes for like tax purposes or in the QuickBook? How exactly do you say, actually took 1,000 or 2,000 from my own money to put in the business to do this, instead of just like using your personal card to pay for it?
How are you taking the money out? Are you going to the bank and just withdraw the $1,000?
Yes.
You don't do that.
I mean, like sometimes
you can actually write yourself a check for the $1,000, and then when you write your check for the $1,000, then you can reconcile it with your QuickBooks. Okay. So don't try to take money out like that, because then at the end, it does look like a lot of minuses, and then nothing to match it with. It looks like you're just taking money out for no purposes, and it becomes a problem. Okay. So just get in the habit of just writing yourself a check, you cash it, and then you reconcile it again in your QuickBooks.
I think 2 more questions. Another thing I find small business do, entrepreneurs, they never pay themselves. I do. It's like, if you're a Christian, you tithe, right? That's 10% minimum. You have to show, I don't care if you're Lex, Saint-Complex, or designer, you do this, you're a chef. I had a chef that says to me, the business is doing well, the restaurant. When I ask him, how much money you make, how you paying yourself? He said, no, I put in the work. I said, you will be closed 3 months, 6 months. because you still have to make money. Even if you take out 100,000, you pay yourself, you put it back as a reinvestment. At least it shows the government there's a payroll. When we had to give loan for PPP, you had to produce a 941. So you had to give some paperwork to say, I paid somebody, and that somebody's got to be yourself. I own a restaurant. At the end of the day, I'm not a chef, but I'm a worker. So I got to pay myself. Then I turn around and take it from this pocket, put it here to pay gas, electricity, payroll. But I know if I go for an SBA, any type of loans, I know what they want to see. They want to see those paperwork to say, here are the expenses, what's your profit and loss, all the money you've spent to be able to, if I'm going to let you borrow, the number one rule is from any bank, how do you pay me back? We ask you at the bank, how does $1 goes to your business? If it comes back 99 cents, I can't let you borrow. It's got to come back 105, 110. So the dollar goes to a full circle. Think of payroll, think of utilities, think of inventory. When it comes back, does it come back negative or positive? That's the decision to close your business, reinvent yourself, or whatever you need to do. If you invest, that's the way you got to look at it. We got one more. Two more. What's that? You say it better.
You said exactly what I was going to say.
Say it with your voice. You have a beautiful voice. I want to hear your voice.
No, basically, he said exactly what I was going to say. A lot of people, when they have businesses, they don't put themselves on a payroll. That's your biggest. Trust me, I've learned through the ropes that even if I have direct deposit, and there's some weeks that it's horrible. So instead of doing direct deposit, cut yourself a check. Put the check in when you get the money, but pay yourself. Pay yourself. He said exactly. We related. So.
One more, then we get. No, Maritza, go ahead.
No, I don't have anything.
Oh, I think you have a last question? Yeah. You have a lot of questions. You got problems. We don't have solutions for you tonight. No, go ahead.
That's all right, y'all. I can handle him. Luna, I am very curious. I'm not trying to get in your business, but I'm trying to get in your business because, yeah, girl, you said you are a serial entrepreneur. So what are your ventures? What perhaps is the one that is most profitable? Which one are you most passionate about? And how, and I know this is a loaded question because there's so many different parts to it, but where did you start and how did you end up in the different sectors as you did?
Oh, that's a lot of questions. Okay, so yeah, let's start listing the business first. So I own a skincare line. I started with makeup first. Then once I got my esthetician license, I was like, oh, I want to do products. And then I went into skincare. Then I also do taxes. I also do investment in homes. So I buy homes, I do renovating. I do sub-twos, I don't know if you know what that is. It's when someone can pay their home. If you have the money, they sign the deed. Now it's your home type of thing. Yeah, I do that. I also own a restaurant. It's been over 30 years in Orlando, but we became owner the past 5 years. It's an Eagle Bar, and we just won the Super Bowl. So it's been very lucrative lately. And I own a beauty supply, the only beauty supply in Deltona. Am I missing anything? And so the one I love the most is the beauty supply store. It's the most lucrative. And the reason why I love it so much, you really don't put a lot. Because literally, let's just say if you put $5,000 in just for inventory, it just sits there. But then the return, you get that literally 2-3 days. Because the markup, it's crazy, if you guys knew. So for beauty supply. And that's the reason why I was like, you know what, why are we letting them into this market? Why not us? So that's the reason why now I'm teaching other women that want to own beauty supply store the path on how to do it, because you can't just get in. It's almost like a mafia business. somebody kind of have to bring you in or teach you because you just can't get in. Have I answered all your questions? Or? We could talk after this if you don't. Yes, and with real estate, I feel like if you had a mentor that knew what they were doing, and it will become profitable for you. So for my mentor, he was in this business for 20, 25 years. My husband and I, he mentors for almost a year. Our very first flip, he did it with us to make sure that it was profitable. And then after that, our second flip, he made sure that we did it ourselves, but he was there watching everything, making sure that we were overdoing it, because sometimes you overdo it and it's not in the market. Like you wouldn't even be able to sell it and get any profit. And then from there, we've been taking off. And then we go to a lot of different conferences and seminars. People don't believe in that. I do. So you'll find myself, Marissa could tell you, every year I try to attend at least 2 to 3 seminars. So whoever I follow on social media, whoever's doing what I want and what I like seeing, and they being successful at what they do, I see if they're in Vegas, I catch a flight, I go by myself, I learn, I get poured into, because in every venture, they're always changing, and you have to be in the room to know what's going on. A lot of it you're not gonna find on social media. So you have to invest in yourself, go to these seminars, go to conferences, and learn what they're doing, and I come back and then I flip it and I make it myself, my own.
All right.
And one thing I'll say about her or anyone is not even that. And I think we were saying that the idea of, how they say, "Uno tut bagay woman," they used to make it like something is wrong with you, but it's true now, or people are trying to see it, that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? At any level you are at, you're gonna need to identify it and know to change your circle. And when I say change your circle, meaning in order to make $1 million, you need to hang out with people that have made $1 million. If you hanging out with people that are making 100,000, it's a different mindset. It's a different level. So you need to be able to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be at. She started in skincare. She started with a makeup line, then went into skincare. It makes sense to own a beauty supply. Because it's still in the same business. So it's like you're pivoting, but you're still in your area. There's different aspects of it in the fashion and the beauty industry.
And hold on, I wanted to add, and I remember she was trying to think whether she wanted to move. I even had a truck business. Yeah, I went into trucking too. So it was that time like trucking was booming, literally. So we bought 2 trucks. We were making money. Then COVID hit. Then people got their PPP. Then everybody was owning a truck. And they didn't know the business. So then you will call in, and when you call in and look for your the rate, let's just say $3, they're like, no, we can find someone else that'll do it cheaper, because the new people that were coming into the business, they didn't know how to fight for better rates. Whatever they'll give them, they'll take. So now you have your driver making more money than you. So after a while, I'm like, So we sold the trucks to one of our drivers. We sold it and we got out the business. So you have to also learn when to walk away. So though I'm doing almost everything, but if it's not bringing in anything, we're walking away.
And then the one thing I'll say to this too, and that's Haitians when I talk about that collective. Everybody went into the trucking business. And what they should have done was let Luna, I'll use Luna as an example, come under her formation where there's 100 trucks. Now, with the portfolio of you having 100 trucks, you can go to Walmart and ask Walmart for a contract. You can go to Target and ask Target for a contract. But we're so busy. I want to be the boss. I want to be the boss. I want to be the one in front. And then we're losing out on making the money, the real money. That's the reason why we don't get those high contracts. Meaning, for me, now that I moved to South Florida, when I look at all the companies when they have big tournaments, big shows, No Haitians have these contracts because we do not have the numbers. The government contracts, we do not have them because we're so busy want to be I. You know how I feel to the fact that in South Florida, we do not own a nice Haitian club like M2. We make the money, we make these seminars, these big events, but yet the money doesn't stay in the community because we don't own anything.
Well, actually, this is actually a really good turnout and a really good segue. Yes. And I have to actually give the flowers to Fred. So besides owning Creole Image, Fred owns First Republic, which is a restaurant in New Jersey. So let's do that. In addition to that, he has a lot of gusto. And I mean that because he's one of the gentlemen that actually opened his restaurant during COVID. Okay, so imagine what it took and the fortitude that it took for him to actually do that. So we have to congratulate for him because there's a restaurant in New York City, in Lower East Side, called Wibel that Fred has been putting and investing in the community for. So if you guys are here, you've never eaten there before, please make sure that you support him on that. Because again, people will say there's no good restaurants, but you guys are not supporting it when it exists. Amen. So let's talk about that and make sure that that happens as well. And thank you again, Fred, for moderating. I just wanted to give you your flowers on this one because it was a good segue for us.
Where is Haitian Rocks? I have a T-shirt thing that says give my flowers to other people. I don't give them my flowers.
And then Fred, I'll say this. No. We have so many great businessmen. We don't always recognize them. Remember when I said there was one in Evans? Fred is another one. You know, in terms of what he has been able to do in this business. In terms of him being 20 years in banking, vice president in Bank of America, he won't say these things, but I can, you know? And one of the things I was having the conversation with him was during COVID, why a lot of Haitians or black business then have, they're operating, but yet they never registered their business, you know? So they don't have the legal documents to present to the bank to get the money. And that's the reason why doing these type of panels, although they're not popular, but like you said, quality over quantity. And it is so needed. The education, the lack of knowledge, you know, in this community keeps us down. And that's why we don't grow, that's why we don't build the wealth that we need. First Republic, I remember when it opened, and I was like, wow, the service, the food, the ambiance, the art, right? And it is still standing. And being able now to open Wibel in New York City, Lower East Side. You know, so it's that. And then also too, with Fabrice, with what he's doing with,
It's Women's Month.
No, it's okay.
Let's.
No, that's fine, because guess what? No, because this is this, right? In order for us to do this, we have the backing of our men, our partners, and our husband. As we are celebrating Women's History Month, I don't want us, I used to be a former feminist, and then I looked at them like, what the hell are you talking about, Maritza? You don't want to lift up the bags when you come from the supermarket, you know? I don't want to pump gas, you know? I don't want to wash the car. So what are you talking about? Meaning that I can still be a woman, but I know also there's not a lot. I don't want to do everything. I do not want to do everything. So I want my men, the men in our community, to let them know how important they are, how significant they are, and that without them, right, we cannot do what we do, especially black men, Haitian men. They don't always show us the love the way we want it, but they do it, you know? So thank you for the good ones like the Evans, the Freds, the Fabrice.
my Wagner.
In your Wagner. Okay? So, thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'll let you close out.
Okay, my last question for you ladies is what advice would you give your young self when it comes to finance and financial stability?
Like, I'll take something from Tico. Do it scared and do it anyway. Because I think for me, I probably could have studied way sooner. But again, you always have like a little fear, but you know it doesn't come from the Lord. So you just have to learn to step out of faith and trust that God got you. He knows your tomorrow, He knows your today. And if He tells you to step out, just do it. Anyway, scared.
And stop psyching myself out in terms of you become like your own negative block, you know, the mind game, you know, and being right with it, because sometimes we create the damage that doesn't even exist. So before it even gets started. So that's what I would say. And with all of that, I'll say, thank you, everyone. I have to thank a couple of people. Evans Bless again of Jazz Enterprise. Cindy, you know, I couldn't do this without you. AJ's Happy Kitchen from South Florida, who sponsored us, supported us to be here. All of you ladies on the panel, I respect you guys so much to what you do in the community. To some of my friends that came out, Nara, I love you so much, I appreciate you. Ronald Rock, who's always there supporting me. And of course, Evans this year, Lomla, also working in the business. Thank you for all that you guys do. DJ Heavy, you killed it last night on stage at LNDJ.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, DJ Joel. Thank you. Haitian Girls Who Brunch, I see you. We're going to connect, and definitely you are doing a great job. Again, thank you.
Let's not forget, he doesn't like to talk. The one that runs the city, Mr. Sorrel Celestin, he's in the building. He's being very quiet. We want to thank you. We appreciate you. Listen, collectively, promoters, bankers, business, that's how we lift the community overall. We need to stop being selfish. If you can lend a hand, lend a hand. The only way our country, and I talk country, 2 years ago, I followed the Haitian Ladies Network. We launched the Haitian Men's Network. And we need these men to stand up, stand out, and make something happen. So more to come, but let's make it happen. So.
All right. So we actually have to thank first and foremost Secret Room for actually hosting us today, our bartenders and our waiting staff. They were incredible, so let's thank them as well for all their work. We also still have another hour of music so that you could still dance a little bit, move a little bit, whatever the wings that you ate, the mozzarella stick and so forth. In addition to that though, May 2nd, we are launching our partnership here with Secret Room. So this is your spot to come.
Enjoy. Ok, si silence cimetière ça l'homme besoin m'a fait nous connaître. C'est un plaisir pour BIC Tison di fait là avec nous à Big Up Steve, Haïti débloqué. Haïti débloqué son histoire qui commençait longtemps et il a commencé pas seulement monde même t'es fait partie d'une monde qui commençait avec mouvement ça en Haïti. So merci Steve parce que on fois encore vous menez ici. Ça qui va le passer à simple pour nous mêmes qui gagne quelques temps dans Haïti, à travers la musique, nous allons visiter le pays que nous connaissons en pile là. Donc, principe là, c'est simple. Côté musicien, principe là, c'est simple. Madame musicien, venez s'il vous plaît, parce que le voilà. Principe là, c'est simple. C'est que depuis où qu'on a musique, chanter. Ok? Parce que pour bien comprendre, il y a un paywall pour les gens qui chantent. USA, les gens ne travaillent gratis. Depuis vous chanter, ou à toucher. Maman me gonfle ce qui dit l'ouvrier qui travaille. OK? Pas manger comme moi mal laine qu'à chanter. Maman des musiciens monter parce que Et il faut nous connaître chaque fois qu'on a chanté plus fort que le manager me saute. Pas il a fait là. Donc, à ce moment-là, nous allons aller un bâtiment de quai. Nous allons pour ça? All right, je demande nous. Moi, je suis content, ça fait longtemps que nous sommes sur scène. Yeah, man. Qui est content, ouais? Combien de cadavres nous gagnons pour qu'un cimetière rempli? Combien de kits pour nous gagnons qui cachent de l'eau la pluie? Combien de partis politiques qui obligent nos partis? Combien de nous cap étudier pour nous gratter senti? Combien de monde qui péri règles qui déréglé? Combien alcali droit de goût qui nous dégoûté? Combien souffle notre chou qui pour que dit nous pas jamais rien? Combien de caoutchouc en tout qui te baille les brins? Combien de chauffeurs tête mato nous baille mener nous déjà? Combien de fois yo ban mal pour opter yo dit nous c'est déjà? Combien de pour nous gagner pour nous bérir moucher un tel? Ça passe dans le jazz là. Mesdames et messieurs, applaudissez jazz là qui a chauffé moi s'il vous plaît. Jazz a chauffé en façon pas comme applaudissez quand même mettez comme monsieur. Ne le applaudissez ça. Combien de cadavres pour nous gagner pour un cimetière rempli? Combien de kits pour nous gagner qui cachent de l'eau la pluie? Combien de partis politiques qui obligent nos partis? Combien de nous qui étudier pour nous gratter senti? Combien de monde qui péri règles qui déréglé? Combien alcali doit dégoût qui nous dégoûté? Combien souffle notre chou qui pour que dit non pas jamais rien? Combien caoutchouc en tout qui te baille les brins? Combien chauffeurs tête mato nous baille mener nous déjà? Combien fois yo man mal pour opter yo dit nous c'est déjà? Combien bébé pour nous gagner pour nous bérir manger un tel? Pour le cabanon dégager pour petit nous goûter sel? Combien calculer pour nous calculer pour nous calculer pour nous calculer? Avant me joindre combien cervelle qui boulait? N'en réfléchis crâne tête qui coulait? Combien calculer pour calculer pour calculer pour calculer? Jeune garçon ou femme qui espérait la vie meilleure avant yo expiré. Combien de nous qui n'ont trop pressé, casser tête orteils? Combien de nous qui boit, mais qui pas respecter bouteille? Combien de nous qui quoi, zot a retiré nous dans won? Mais c'est comme si nous devons mettre signe sous compte pétade marron. Combien papa qui pas qu'à garder petit yo danger? Parce que yo t'es sauvé, maman accouché d'enragé. Combien archives nationales qui cabane nous tout papier? Combien patrimoine national yo foulé en papier? Combien chrétiens jodi y'a prêt pour mourir pour Jésus? Si on moun te lève mêle en vérité m'tap saisi. Combien moun en Haïti cap touché par quinzaine? Combien l'autre qui manquait 11 pour le gagner une douzaine? Combien de nègres qui te pensé l'aile grande, tape grand nègre? Combien de nègres pour m'blender pour bam, yon bon nègre? Ça ne va pas. Combien zéro pour mettre au quotient? Avant de joindre des trois graines haïtiens qui conscient chanter. Combien avant de joindre combien cervelle qui boulait? N'en réfléchis crâne tête qui coulait? Côté choral la patente de chanter. Combien calculer pour calculer pour calculer pour calculer? Jeune garçon ou femme qui espérait la vie meilleure avant yo expiré. Nous avons bonsoir. Nous avons bonsoir. Nous avons bonsoir. Nous n'en phase pour faire répétition avec Corel la Konya. Nous n'en phase nous allons faire répétition. L'eau. Mais avant de faire répétition, je vais prendre deuxième couplet. Phrase là pour moi, dernière syllabe là pour nous. Je vais prendre deuxième couplet. Toute phrase là pour moi, dernière syllabe là pour nous. Nous allons faire ça? Nous laissez ça? Vous laissez ça? L'eau. Combien de nous qui n'ont trop pressé, casser tête zor? Combien de nous qui boivent, mais qui pas respecter vous? Combien de nous qui quoi, sont à retirer nous non? C'est comme si nous te prend médecine sous compte pétadma. Combien papa qui pas qu'à garder petit yo nan. Parce que yo te sauvé maman accouché dans la. Combien archives nationales qui cabay nous tout bas. Combien patrimoine national yo foulé en bas. Combien chrétiens jodi y'a prêt pour mourir bouger. Si yon moun te levé men en vérité m'tapse. Combien moun en Haïti qu'a touché paquet. Combien l'autre qui manquait 11 pour le gayon dou. Combien ti nèg qui te pense l'aile grande t'apprend. Combien grand nèg pour m'blender pour bam yon bon. Ça ne va pas, combien zéro pour mettre au go. L'eau. Et pas comme ça n'a mangé comme là. Si n'a mangé comme là, mangez le bien. Vous voulez entendre des chorales là, comme dernier syllabe là, ok? Si n'a mangé comme si on fait manger bien. N'a pas fait l'eau, parce que vous voulez entendre des gens qui mangent comme ça. Bien, allez. Combien de nous qui n'ont trop pressé, casser tête ça. Combien de nous qui boivent, mais qui pas respecter vous. Combien de nous qui quoi, zot t'a retiré nous non. C'est comme si te prend médecine sous compte pétalement. Combien papa qui pas qu'à garder petit yo non. Parce que yo te sauvé maman accouché dans la. Combien archives nationales qui cabay nous tout bas. Combien patrimoine national yo foulé en bas. Combien chrétiens jodi y'a prêt pour mourir bouger. Si yon moun te levé mais en vérité m'tapse. Combien moun qui dans New York t'a touché paquet. Combien l'autre qui manquait 11 pour le gayon dou. Combien ti nèg qui te pense l'aile grande t'a grand. Combien grand nèg pour m'blender pour bam yon bon. Ça ne va pas. Combien zéro pour mettre au co. Avant de joindre des trois graines haïtiens. Choral la chanter. Combien calculer pour calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer. Avant de joindre combien cervelle qui boule. Dans réfléchir crâne tête qui coule. Chantez, combien calculer pour calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer. Jeune garçon à femme qui espérait. La vie meilleure avant yo ek. L'eau. T'as l'air de syllabes, il y a qui m'ont deux syllabes. Dans des quinzaines, dans des douzaines, pendant que moi non seule syllabe. Ok? Comme nous avons dans deux syllabes, nous allons laisser là avec deux syllabes. Ok? Vous voulez ça? Combien de syllabes, moi, demande Kounia? Combien de syllabes, moi, demande Kounia? Combien de syllabes, nous allons ok! Nous partons là. Combien de nous qui n'ont trop pressé, cassé tête? Combien de nous qui boivent, mais qui pas respecté? Combien de nous qui quoi, ça t'a retiré nous? C'est comme si tu prenais médecine sous compte pétade. Combien de papa qui pas qu'à garder petit yo? Parce que yo te sauvé maman accouché non. Combien archives nationales qui cabay nous toutes? Combien patrimoine national yo foulé en? Combien chrétiens jodi y'a prêt pour mourir pour? Si yon moun te levé mais en vérité m'tap. Combien moun en Haïti k'ap touché pas? Combien l'autre qui manquait 11 pour le gayon? Combien ti nèg qui te pense l'aile grande tap grand nèg? Combien grand nèg pour m'blender pour bam yon bon nèg? Ça ne va pas. Combien zéro pour mettre au quotient? Avant de joindre des trois graines haïtiens choral la chanter. Combien calculer pour calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer. Avant de joindre combien cervelle qui boule. Dans réfléchir crâne tête qui coule. Oh madame chanter, combien calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer. Jeune garçon à femme qui espérait. La vie meilleure avant yo expiré. Si on dit fait à dit toi. Pour nos pays ça cap marché prêté toi. Pour nos pays ça cap marché prêté toi. Pour nos pays ça nous t'a doué fouetter. Top bagaille nous fait jodi a que mais nous ka regretter. Top moun qui pas t'a doué sous moun. Top moun qui pas semblé ak moun. Top tomber levé, top levé tomber. Toi jeune qui flotter en l'air d'un conti ka bomber. Combien calculer pour calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer. Avant de jouer combien cervelle qui coule. Dans réfléchir crâne tête qui coule. Vas-y, combien calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer, pour calculer. Jeune garçon à femme qui espérait. Vie avant yo expiré. Mon Filino is in the house. All right. Assurez-nous avec BIC Tison du fait. Nous commençons à chauffer, nous commençons à remettre ça dans le faire. Mais c'est beaucoup de bagages là, ça, ok? De temps en temps, on n'a pas volé. Vous venez prendre plaisir. Il faut participer dans le plaisir, ok? C'est pour ça, on dernière fois, nous allons nous chanter le refrain en moins. Refrain 1, 2, 3, à vous. Combien calculer? Vous me calculez, vous me calculez. Avant que je ne tombe, c'est elle qui boulait. Non, réfléchis, crâne, tête qui coulait. Combien calculer, vous me calculez, vous me calculez, vous me calculez. J'ai un garçon avec femme qui espérait la vie meilleure avant yo expiré. Regardez, ingénieur vite mon code. Ingénieur dégage vite mon code. Je me sens si nous avons cabrit nous mettre dans code et puis nous mesurer code moi. Ingénieur dégage la code là dedans même. Bon. C'est exactement comme ça me voulait. Énergie ou bon petit bagay, dégage un bon code. Bon moi niveau code moi. Moi niveau code moi. Ya. Énergie. Énergie nous besoin même non et non nous pour le sortir. D'accord ça? All right, bon. Je vais le partager avec nous. Une musique. Oui, c'est une musique là pour nous bien comprendre. Parce que l'homme t'a pensé à la musique, il a son clac. Et puis clac là dit, j'aime regarder la société, j'aime regarder le pays, il pour me faire une radiographie de lui. Mais comme musique elle est à suivre. Combien de monde la connaît des musiques à suivre? À suivre ces musiques Nélo, ouais. À suivre ces musiques Araka, vous connaissez ça. Je vais partager le texte avec nous. Ou même qui peut avoir une chance de suivre, je demande porter attention pour enjoy musique ça qui est. Quelqu'un, let's go. Yes, sir. Let's go, quelqu'un. Ok. L'aimerie, ça fait me sentir plus bien que l'aime prier, c'est pour ça que je vais monter sur une scène avec le danger. Comme chanter, c'est plus belle façon pour me prier. Je ne vais pas mettre la foi dans la religion pour ne pas endommager. Moi, connais nous les biographies de toute façon. Moi, connais nous connaissons ça fait dans quelques autres nations. Pas différent de Jésus-Christ, il fait nos packs bêtes, il fait nos capitales qui tournent, il pas cochon. En tant que petit cochon, me fait valer. Et un jour, je demande par exemple pour qui joue le poésie long comme ça. Yo répondu, dit c'est fini ou fini. Haïti, par quoi dans Valais, on les va comprendre ça. Je dis à messieurs, je regrette dans l'école, boule plus de 14 ans. Malgré ça, m'a boule caoutchouc. Et si je peux bouler tout les certificats, c'est parce que maman vivant, c'est l'école qui te paye pour yo. Nous gardons des jeunesses à mettre dehors, il y a le coup de matos sous douette, dans cloué, caloche, boucher là-bas. Si vous rencontrez un monde avec diplôme ici, c'est parce que les gars ont parents ou bien le pas bien visa. Depuis que tout petit, n'a pas calé ouest, ghetto police pété balle, l'état pas pété ban senti. Moi j'ai des petites filles, des DS, artistes pays pété chawa, j'ai fait yo parti. En parlant des artistes, c'est chapeau bas. Nous détrôner machin de poisson, moi dis chapeau bas. Y'en a nous qui vivent l'idée, moi dis chapeau bas. Nous répétons qu'on calmaçon, moi dis chapeau bas. Ah, m'passe pour média, gardez chapeau bas. Nous promoter ça qui pas bon, yo moi dis chapeau bas. Comme pas de promotion sans promoteur, m'a salé promoteur et général, artiste en droit d'auteur. Ah, bouquet, mais oui, bouquet, chita gade bouki, café timali souké. Bouquet, franchement bouquet, ouais, ti gêne, tourne tout tous, grand monde, yo zo bouquet. Ah, Haïti chéri, m'kono gal reproché, l'autre des mal vivre dans yon l'autre pays qui embauché. M'kono des gens ou après reproché, artiste avant, yo, c'est pas yo qui décide, c'est l'état haïtien qui vend yo. On pays qui a 5 problèmes, corruption, 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 corruption. Sur 5 moun, il y a 4 corrupteurs plus difficile pour respirer que pour vivre dans la corruption. Dans la boîte d'état, il y a 3 moun qui besoin de recycler. Dans la boîte d'état, il y a 3 moun qui besoin de retraiter. Nous cherchons jeunes femmes à niveau, mais pas toi, yo, juste demandé qui niveau, je pour qu'à lever. Oh, bon fini. Bon fini. Ils ont dit fait bon fini, l'eau. Brancher l'autre si monsieur l'eau l'école t'es toujours tête en bas même t'es toujours soumettre pas toujours d'accord avec parents même t'es toujours soumettre et depuis lettres ils ont dit fait y'a dans musique li monter qui dans mi tambour vide poésie toujours gen mettre mais entre nous pépé sous parents mais la boue qui ça va faire la chambre pour que pas chita dans la cour ou expliquer même toujours pour comprendre mais t'as parlé des pays m'ta cool t'as parlé des fonds de jambes Intellectuel, l'État pas besoin. Ou bien colonne vertébrale, l'État pas besoin. Ou sont malheureux honnête, l'État pas besoin. Si souris t'as mangé poésie, l'État pas besoin. Nous gain gaz dans vente, pas gain gaz dans pompe. Peuple apprend la ripoule, demander l'État porter le secours. Entre temps, il l'autre qui gain gaz, machine blindée, à sécurité pour transporter poupou. Nous la carte n'a pas veiller jour grand goût pour nous faire profiter manger belle poésie, moi écrit yo. Nous la carte n'a pas veiller jour raser pour nous faire profiter chanter des musiques qui pas les pères yo. Si on dit fait échapper des gens pas capable mal job. Si on dit fait pas chanter pour bourgeois mal propre. Moi t'ai besoin pays pour petit moi t'ai vivre. Nous forcer me faire yo aller, bagage ça lui fait mal trop. Bagage pour me perdre. Tout ça me possède c'est musique qui m'a moi. Et pour tout promoteur qui t'a bam danti, rat mon bel grain dans baou, ou a bam yo vieux grain dans pour l'eau. En parlant de promoteurs qui ça n'a promoté, nous pensons que t'as porté ta lamba nous pour nous gagoter. Si yo te gen micro dans pantalon yo gen artiste qui t'a dit yo c'est bourriqué n'a fait yo bourriqué. Moi, si on dit fait c'est un boss, pas attendre m'a demander nous vieux faveur. Moi gen longtemps me changer poste, l'eau propre avec de la boue pas gen me savait. Respect pour quelques animateurs qui éduquent, qui dans micro, qui compte ça y a fait. Respect pour quelques journalistes qui battent bête, qui kembe tête, qui connaissent notre tête yo. Pour toute machin micro qui a brassé, Bill artiste. Si pas pour album dans radio encore, c'est parce que étranger pas porté, mais nous toujours il est au grade. Adolescent dans alcool et cigarette. Parlement tant couillon quand son sans braguette. Mais c'est les magistrats pas gain poubelle, même pour la Kylie. Président pas mettre pantalon dans taille. Gagnons bon moun dans opposition, frère, qui pas gain vraie position. Gagnons bon l'autre dans gouvernement, quoi, yon pied dehors, yon pied en dedans. Léo Québec pied, yon volant la ville, là l'eau réalisé tête là c'est Pétionville lié. Si ou Québec jouet, yon est Pétionville, gardez si c'est pas Périque, yon doit son tête calé lié. Léo Québec pied, yon volant la ville, là l'eau réalisé tête là c'est Pétionville lié. Si ou Québec jouet, yon est Pétionville, gardez si c'est pas Périque, yon doit son tête calé lié. L'aime ça fait me sentir plus bien que l'aime crier. C'est pour ça que je vais monter sur une scène avec le danger. Comme chanter, c'est plus belle façon pour me prier. Je ne pas mettre la foi dans la religion pour ne pas endommager. Moi, connais nous les biographies de toute façon. Moi, connais nous connaissons fait dans quelques autres nations. Mais différent de Jésus-Christ, il fait non pas bête, il fait non capital qui tourne, il pas cochon. En tant que petit cochon, me fait valem et on joue des parents pour qu'ils jouent le poésie long comme ça. Yo répondu, dit c'est vini ou vini, Haïti par quoi dans Valais, on les va comprendre ça. Je dis à monsieur, moi regrette dans l'école, je boule plus que 14 ans, malgré ça, je boule caoutchouc. Et si je boule tout vieux certificat, c'est parce que maman vivant, c'est sur l'école qui te paye pour yo. Nous, quand on jeunesse la mettre dehors, il y a le coup de matos sous douette, dans cloué caloche pour chien là-bas. Si vous rencontrez un monde avec diplôme ici, c'est parce que les gagnent un parent ou bien le pas gain visa. Depuis que je suis tout petit, je suis allé ouest, ghetto police pété balle, l'état pas pété ban senti. Moi, j'ai des petites filles DDS, artistes pays pété chawa, fait m'obliger faire yo parti. En parlant des artistes, mais c'est chapeau bas. Nous détrônons machin poisson, mais c'est chapeau bas. Gagnons nous qui viennent l'idée, mais c'est chapeau bas. Nous rempétons coup calmaçon, moi dis chapeau bas. Ha, m'passe pour média, gardez chapeau bas. Nous promotons ça qui pas bon, yo moi dis chapeau bas. Comme pas une promotion sans promoteur, m'a salé promoteur et chemaille, artiste sans droit d'auteur. Ha, m'bouquet, mais oui m'bouquet. Chita garde des bouquets, café ti malisouké. M'bouquet, franchement m'bouquet, ouais ti gêne, tourner tout tous, grand moun yozo bouquet. Ha, Haïti chéri m'kon non gal reprocher, l'autre de mal vivre dans l'autre pays qui embauché. M'content des gens ou après reprocher artiste avant, yo c'est pas yo qui décide, c'est l'état haïtien qui vend yo. On pays a 5 problèmes, corruption. Sous 5 moun gen 4 corruptels plus difficile pour respirer que pour vivre dans corruption. Dans boîte l'état yo gen 3 moun qui besoin recycler, dans boîte l'état yo gen 3 moun qui besoin retraiter. Nous chercher jeune femme à niveau, même pas trop yo demandé qui niveau j'ai pour ka lever haut. Dit bon fini. New York qui ça me dit bon fini. Qui ça ils ont dit fait pour fini. Rit branché, tendez. L'école t'es toujours tête en bas, t'es toujours sous bête. M'pas toujours d'accord avec parents, même t'es toujours sous bête. Et depuis là, ils ont dit fait à la musique, ils montrent que dans mi tambour vide, poésie toujours gen mettre. Mais entre nous pépé, sous parents mais la boue, qui sont fait la chambre pour que pas chita dans la cour. Ou expliquer même pour toujours comprendre, l'état parler des pays, t'as qu'on t'a parlé des fonds de jambes. Intellectuel, l'état pas besoin. Ou bien colonne vertébrale, l'état pas besoin. Malheureux